the feeling like I'm trapped in my damn mind. Tell the feeling like I'm rapping a damn lie. Tell the feeling like my life is a damn game.
Hey, what's up, guys? Today, I'll show you a horror comedy film. Feast Part 1. Spoiler ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie begins in a bar in the middle of nowhere. Sitting near the counter is a goth-looking woman wearing a leather jacket and heavy makeup. A title card reveals that she's planning on robbing the bar patrons in a few minutes. There is also a teenager in a wheelchair in the bar, accompanied by his older brother Bozo, who sends him careering across the room. A man named Coach is on the phone arguing with someone. Another title card reveals that he's a struggling motivational speaker. At the other end of the counter is a surly grandma who used to be beautiful when she was young. Now, she's still decked out in makeup and tight clothes, but she doesn't turn heads anymore. She drowns her sorrows in a glass of liquor. Bozo approaches her and flirts her dying hormones, but she is not in the mood. Near the pool table is an actor playing with a buddy of his. Meanwhile, a pale and balding man named Bear Guy is trying to convince the grisly bartender that he used to be a model when he was younger. Coach approaches Bear Guy and tells him that he will change his life. The bartender tells Coach to stay away from Bear Guy and don't take advantage of him. Sitting at one of the tables is Vet, who has recently returned from a tour of duty. The bartender serves him a drink and thanks him for his service. He asks Vet what he's planning to do now, and he replies that he'll briefly see his wife and then head back to the front lines. Bear Guy goes to the basement to smoke a cigarette, but Bossman, a plump middle-aged man, shows up with a cowboy hat. A pretty blonde waitress named Honey Pie serves Coach. He's attracted to her beauty and asks if he could get her a drink. Honey Pie smiles and seduces him with her honey-sweet hormones. However, when they're about to leave the bar, a wedding ring falls out of Coach's wallet. Honey Pie is understandably pissed at him for conveniently forgetting to tell her that he's married. She slaps Coach in the face and storms off. Another waitress named Tuffy is working. However, she is far from the fresh-faced naive girl like Honey Pie. Tuffy is worn out by the world and has resorted to selling her cheap body for fast money. Bossman, who owns the bar, is one of her haunting customers. Before she services him with tongue massages, Tuffy places a pair of headphones over her young son's ears so he won't hear their hormone noises. Suddenly, a strong and well-built man enters the bar holding a shotgun. A title card reveals that his name is Hero, implying that he is the hero of the story. Hero has blood on his face, and he hurriedly informs everyone that their lives are in danger. In response, the bartender whips out his own shotgun and points it at Hero. Hero shows them the decapitated monster head he's holding and announces that there are 4 monsters coming toward the bar. He adds that they all have to follow his instructions if they want to save their own shitty lives. His first instruction is to lock all the doors and windows to prevent the creatures from coming inside. He then orders Bear Guy to call the authorities. Hero's rousing speech is interrupted when a terrifying monster crashes through the window and grabs him. It brutally decapitates him. The shotgun falls to the floor and accidentally fires off a shot. Blood splatters all over Honey Pie. At that moment, a woman enters the bar. She asks them where her husband is, revealing that she is Hero's wife. She springs into action and grabs the shotgun, immediately using it to lock the front door. She sees her husband's dead body on the floor and sobs with fake tears. But she has no time to grieve because more and more monsters are attacking the bar. She and Vet manage to put a table in front of the window, but the monster reaches through the wood and impales Vet. Another monster attacks Goth Girl and cuts off her arm. The rest of the patrons run and hide behind tables and counters. One of the creatures scratch off the actor's face. He screams and gets accidentally shot by a stray bullet. One of the monsters proceeds to hump one of the mounted deer heads on the wall. The bartender takes this opportunity to shoot it. Meanwhile, Tuffy hears the commotion and tells her son to hide in the closet. The creatures cease their attack. Hero's wife hobbles to the bar and requests a drink from the bartender. A title card shows that she has replaced her husband and is now the heroine of the story. It turns out, one of the bullets fired by Hero hit Bossman, who is in the room upstairs. His leg is now injured. The wife tells the others that she doesn't even know where the monsters came from. They just started chasing her and her husband. She then tells the others that they all have to stay in one place for their safety. Tuffy realizes that she left her son in the closet upstairs. She runs to the room and flings open the door. She finds her son and hugs him, but a monster reaches through the window and grabs the kid, leaving behind only one leg. The 3 of them try to help, but they can only manage to yank Tuffy to safety. The monster even vomits green liquid all over Bear Guy, possibly wanting to toast him with some beer. He freaks out and tries to leave the bar, but the wife knocks some sense into him. Honey Pie removes her honey sweet top and uses a damp cloth to clean the blood off of her. Bozo and his brother Wheelchair stare at her honey sweet body with mouths agape. The wife reinforces the locks on the doors by adding more barricades. Bozo suggests that they clean up the bodies. When he bends down to pick up the actor's corpse, it twitches and he jumps back in surprise. Bossman explains that it's just the body's death rattle, and he tells Bozo to take the bodies to the basement. The remaining survivors get to work on blocking all the entrances and exits of the bar with heavy pieces of wood. It turns out the monster the bartender shot earlier is still alive and trapped inside one of the freezers. Bossman riddles the freezer box with bullets, but the creature is still alive and it reaches for him. Tuffy helps Bossman extricate himself from the monster's hold while the wife finishes it off. Coach psyches the group up by giving an inspirational speech. He gets the idea that they should show the creatures that humans can be terrifying too. Coach grabs a pool stick and uses it to take the monster's corpse from the freezer. He asks the wife to temporarily remove one of the wooden boards blocking the window. She hesitantly agrees. Coach places the monster corpse outside and waves it for all the other creatures to see. He wants them to be intimidated. Bozo even hurls insults at the creatures, saying that they lack basic humanity. Soon enough, two creatures venture near the bar. The wife comments that the monsters look like a family. Wheelchair realizes that since the monster they killed was small, it must have been the child of the two larger monsters outside. And now, the two monster parents are angry at them for killing their annoying baby. The two monsters begin eating the child's corpse. Then they proceed to procreate, emitting grunts and noises outside the bar. The wife reveals that she and her husband were driving down a road earlier when they ran over one of the monsters. That was the decapitated head the hero was carrying earlier. The remaining monsters began chasing the couple, and they ended up running to the bar. Bear Guy is experiencing some severe skin reactions due to the green liquid the monster vomited on him. Bozo confronts Grandma, thinking that she knows something. But Grandma denies this and just continues to drink her alcohol. Bozo then redirects his focus to the wife and tells her that she's incapable of leading the group and he should be the one leading them. Bear Guy decides to look in between the wooden boards covering the windows of the bar. One of the creatures reaches inside with a GPS tentacle. It easily locates and grabs Bear Guy's eye. The two parent monsters have now produced two more baby monsters and they are attacking the bar. One of them grabs Coachy's pants off of him, but spares his smelly sausage. Bear Guy is still alive, but his skin now looks pale and his eye is gone. They realize that they are running out of bullets, and Bossman shares that he has bullets stored in the basement. The wife says she will go to the basement, but she also orders Bozo to stand guard upstairs. Bozo is a bit scared, so he takes Coach and the bartender with him. Tuffy goes with the wife. The three stay behind in the bar. The men go to the upper floor, where there's a long hallway and a series of rooms. Bozo steps inside a room. He gets scared by a lazy bat and shoots it. He notices a police radio, and he tries to call the police. But a creature attacks him. He tries to leave the room, but the bartender has accidentally locked the door and can't find the key. Fortunately, the wife comes to their rescue and picks the door open. Bozo gets out just in time. The creatures begin breaking into the bar. The wife and the bartender fend them off with their guns. The others are now suggesting that they make a break for it. Bossman has a truck in the garage that they can use. The wife is desperate to make it to her daughter, and she's determined to get out. Wheelchair gets the idea of using a distraction to get the monsters' attention while they escape. They decide to use the corpses of the dead people as a distraction. They attach explosives to Goth Girl's body. Bossman decides that he and Bozo will drop Goth Girl through a hole, so the creatures will devour her juicy meat. Meanwhile, Honey Pie tries to treat Bear Guy's wounds, but the Ike injuries make her vomit. Goth Girl unexpectedly wakes up just when Bossman and Bozo are about to drop her. Downstairs in the basement, Coach and the wife are waiting by the window. Bossman decides that they will still use Goth Girl's smelly body as bait. They let one of the baby creatures grab Goth Girl. It takes her outside and begins devouring her. Goth Girl explodes and takes the monster with her. Because of this, the electricity briefly shuts off. Bossman threatens to kill Bozo if he tells anyone that Goth Girl was still alive when they fed her to the monsters. The two men get into the fight, and Bozo tries to wrestle the gun out of Bossman's hand. Coach and the wife slide out through the basement window. He heads for the truck parked outside, while the wife draws the monsters off with the shotgun. She circles around the bar and knocks on the front door. Tuffy and the others are supposed to open the door for her, but Bear Guy is now dazed and hallucinating because of the monster vomit infecting him. He gets the gun and prevents them from opening the door. Tuffy takes matters into her own hands and knocks Bear Guy to the ground. Bozo takes down Bossman and grabs the gun from him. He sees a figure approaching them and shoots the gun. It turns out he has hit the wife. A monster finishes her off, ending her heroine life. Bossman witnesses all this and blackmails Bozo. If he shuts up about Goth Girl, Bossman will shut up about the wife's death. The two men head downstairs. Bossman tells the others that the wife has died. Tuffy realizes that the wife had slipped a piece of paper inside her jeans with the address of the house where her daughter is. She silently promises to rescue the daughter in honor of her dead parents. Tuffy rallies the group's morale by giving an inspiring speech. A title card reveals that she's now the heroine of the story. Bossman is lying on the floor, and he mocks her optimism. Suddenly, a creature claws its way through the floorboards and eviscerates Bossman's body. Bozo gets the jukebox and uses it to block the hole on the floor. Tuffy peeks through the wooden boards and sees that the creatures have captured Coach. They slam him into the bar doors like a battering ram. With minutes to spare, the bartender hands Bear Guy a Molotov cocktail. When the doors fly open, they throw a beer keg at the monster, and Tuffy shoots the keg with the gun to ignite it. In the chaos, Honey Pie escapes outside and heads for the truck. The others cheer for her, thinking that she will pick them up. However, she drives off alone and leaves them behind. The rest of the monsters finally get inside the bar. The survivors all try to fight them off. Bear Guy comes face to face with a monster but dies, ending his berry life. Tuffy goes one-on-one with a monster and stabs it to death. The bartender gets a heart attack in the middle of the fight. With the last of his strength, he lights up a Molotov cocktail and gives it to Bozo, but the flames are snuffed out. Fortunately, Tuffy kills the monster, although not before it rips the bartender's throat open. They finally kill off all the monsters. The only remaining survivors are Tuffy, Bozo, and Wheelchair. Bozo carries his brother outside, and they all step out into the daylight. They get inside a car and drive off to rescue Hero and his wife's daughter. However, the car stalls just after a few meters. Eventually, Bozo gets it working again, and they continue their trip. But there is still one more survivor. Grandma is still alive inside the bar, trying to save her last dying hormones. The movie ends with a creature killing her, implying that the horror is far from over. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.